love it.
Yes.
Cool. And Jessica, we've chatted before, but for people who haven't met you, just say a little blip about yourself.
I am new to Keller Williams as of July, so going on a little bit of time. Previous to this, I had always actually owned a small business in Chicago, retail management, just customer service galore, from fitness to retail, and just decided wanted to take a little bit more control of my destiny. And so that's why I chose real estate. And I'm currently on the Bradley team.
Awesome. And Jennifer, I don't think we've met before either.
No, I don't recognize you. I'm new also, brand new to Realty, and then also brand new to Keller Williams. So I just joined at the end of August. So slowly ramping up and trying to understand what the heck is going on, because I also know nothing about what I'm doing yet. And I'm trying to join as many training classes as I can. And sorry, it's really windy outside, and that's my patio door.
Oh.
The rocking chairs are like hitting it. So before this, I actually have a bachelor's in supply chain. I was in business for about 9 years before I decided that it just wasn't for me. I was specifically doing purchasing and working in sourcing. So this is actually somewhat related to what I was doing, just different application.
Cool. Well, welcome. You're super new. This will be a good class for you, I think, especially with everything being very, very new.
Right.
Alex, you've been in the group for a little while, but you want to say a little blip about yourself for the new people?
I'm the lazy agent who hasn't really gotten going on soliciting people, I guess, or calling on people. I'm trying to spend more time just learning about the business, and feel like there's an endless amount of stuff to really learn to understand it and get it down. I think there's all sorts of different ways. Some agents just dive right into it and go out and sell, and I'm kind of the total opposite of the spectrum, where I just want to get all my ducks in order first and then go out and sell. So my background is, let's see, I worked in a bank many years, and then I worked for a university school for a number of years, and then I worked for a not-for-profit. And now I'm tired of working for people. I just want to work for myself. So that's the attraction of real estate for me. Plus, I love real estate.
Awesome. And Casey is somewhat new.
Yeah,
not brand new, but do you want to say a quick little bit?
July. So I'm 1 month. Sorry, I'm in bed. I'm also packing and moving, so I have like no furniture right now. But previous to this, I was in medical sales for the last decade. I had taken my licensing exam back in college, but decided maybe 2012 wasn't the best time to start 100% commission in a rough market, from trying to sell a house, maybe not 21 years old as someone, as someone wants to buy from a 21-year-old, but I decided to retake my exam and did so about a month ago. I have a lot of construction and interior design background as well, and took my time in flipping and renovating and going to a bunch of inspections between and before retaking my exams. So that's me.
If you want to see a cool house, you should see Casey's house. It's listed and it's beautiful. Jackie, how about you?
Sorry, I kind of just jumped in. What are we?
Oh, we're just saying a little bit about ourselves.
So I started right at the beginning of coronavirus. So that was interesting because I went to like one meeting in the office and then it was all from home. But I am closing on my first listing this week. No, next week. And yeah, and then prior to this, I was doing a lot of like random marketing jobs and working in restaurants and stuff like that. And I just kind of got sick of it. I was never finding like the right job for me, and it just felt like so much work and I wasn't happy going to work. So this has been such a nice change because I absolutely love this and it doesn't feel like work to me.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Who else have we not gotten to yet? Brittany.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I am very
Hi.
into real estate. I started with Keller Williams at the end of August as well. Just looking for something a little bit different and kind of more of like, I like the idea of choosing your own speed and choosing your own schedule. Right now, I am a gymnastics director. So we do a lot of traveling, and obviously with COVID, it's been interesting. My husband is the owner of a soccer club in Germantown, so our schedules have been crazy. So we have a 2-year-old son. So I got into real estate to try to have one of us try to be more at home with our son, taking advantage of kind of like our family time. It's been hard with us both traveling on the weekends with both of our sports. So I decided that this was the path that I wanted to take. I love looking at houses. I love sharing ideas with everyone about houses. So I was like, so my husband actually gave me the idea, like, why don't you go into real estate? And I was like, well, yeah, that is something cool. So that is why I'm here. So I'm excited to be a part of Keller Williams. I have a friend in Nashville who has a friend in the Lake Country industry that said that it's a great place to be. So that's what brought me here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We got a little background on Frank. David, how about you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
This is the second meeting I've been in. I was in a meeting earlier, I think the same one, Frank, when you were going over the buyers or the offer contract.
Okay.
So I've been with Keller Williams since June, had my first closing at the end of June. I was actually just talking to a person I met a few weeks ago. He's just emailed me and said he's going to call me this week to help him find a house. So yay.
Yay.
It's been going pretty good. Been a little busy, just reaching out to people, doing the whole contact thing. I don't know if anybody watched Cody Gibson, how he said he never door knocks, never cold call or anything like that. He just kept up with his database and nurtured his database, and that's what I've been doing, and that's actually been paying off. I got quite a few leads from that. A couple of them are actually clients now, so just keep working it, I guess.
That's great. I love that. Cool. Who else am I missing? Catherine.
Hi. I've been with Keller Williams since the end of July. And I've loved it. What really drove me into real estate was actually buying our first home in the height of COVID. And just we didn't go through the interviewing of a realtor or any of that. We did it the dumb way, going through Zillow, and we didn't have the best experience with our realtor. So it kind of encouraged me and motivated me, saying like, well, if she can do it, I can do it 10 times better. And so going through our home buying process, and I was on furlough. I was in commercial real estate, more of the office side of things. And obviously office is not existent in COVID times. So I took advantage of the time off and took the course and then took the exam, and now I'm here. And I'm under contract with one buyer right now. And and then working with a lot of different people. I think I resonate with David a lot with really focusing on your sphere. My biggest response in terms of getting people engaged with me being in real estate has really been through social media. So if you guys have good followings on social media and engaging with people that way has really brought me a lot of opportunity that, you know, isn't immediate, but my age group is really the age group that is buying homes. So within the next year, people will really be flooding, and it'll be exciting to really get moving and grooving. So taking this time to really start to understand the process and become an expert so that when I do get flooded with clients, then I'll be tip top shape.
Awesome. That's a great segue, but I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, Teresa.
Good morning. Can you hear
Good
me?
morning. I can.
Okay, I'm Teresa Brown, and I joined Keller Williams in January. I have 2 deals under my belt, 1 buyer, 1 seller. I have a current listing of a condo right now. So my Christmas present to myself is to exit the launch program, and I've been trying to work toward that. I'm a member of the Kristen Cole team with Kevin and a group of others. I live with 2 grandkids, and they are on virtual, so I just kind of mute and listen because you also have the questions with the kids. So I have some teenagers living with me. After owning homes and renting, I just decided to come into the profession because it's something that I've always liked. So after spending 34 years as a teacher, I retired and just have come on board. I've been trying to learn and understand as I've heard others state, and just trying to figure my way. That's kind of Teresa Brown.
Thank you. Well, this is good. I feel like one of the things that is really tricky with being virtual is that we don't have that opportunity to like see people's faces and say hi and hear their story and connect with each other. And I think one of the important things to finding success in this business, to having a good start, or just to like having some kind of sounding board, is to connect with each other in the program. And we have a lot of agents in the launch program. Not everybody participates in the classes or calls me for accountability or something like that, but the people who do seem to see the most success. And I think the more you can connect with each other and support each other, the better off you'll be. It's kind of like being in school again, right? So you like call your buddy and you're like, did you get that question on the test? Or like, what was up with what the teacher said in that class? Same kind of thing. And especially comparing notes to what's working for you or not working. Like David said, like Catherine said, working through your sphere to get contacts with people you already know to get business going can be a really successful way to get some momentum. So being able to talk to each other is really key. So whether it's through the Facebook group for launch, which if you're not on that, I highly recommend. That's a great way to connect with people. Then you can, get each other's contact information, message each other through Facebook or, text, call, whatever. That can be really great. You could set up some accountability check-ins or just say like, hey, do you have 10 minutes after every launch class where we could just chat for a few minutes about what we learned and just see what you got out of it, what I got out of it, and kind of make a plan moving forward with what we're going to take from that class. So anything like that that you can do to work together is really huge. When I started, there were not very many new agents. It was 2014 and the market still wasn't great. And there were like 4 other agents in my office who were new. John Molitor was one of them. He started just a little bit after me. And so we would check in with each other and be like, what do you think of this? Or I'm trying that. And it really helped to have like a little crew that I could go to and ask questions and bounce ideas off of and just kind of check in and see where they stood and where I was with things. And it, we could help each other out. So I highly recommend doing that. That's my tips today for, finding great success, figuring out what you should be doing next, especially if you're brand new, but even if you've been in the business for, a long time, or if it feels like a long time because COVID seems to be making this the longest year ever, whatever it is, that's a really good thing to tap into, is just the power of connecting with each other and helping each other out, because we do have a great culture. And whether that means new agents or people have been in the business for a while, that can be really helpful. So if you haven't been invited to the launch group on Facebook, send an email to Mandy and she should be able to get you on. I'll check to see if I can add people as well. But I don't think I'm an administrative person. So I think she'd have to add you on. So you can email Mandy Cotty about that. So in terms of what should you be doing, especially if you're new, or if you kind of feel like you've gotten off the path, or if you've been doing this for a little while and you think you've got some things in place, but you're like, something's just not clicking. I'm not getting that momentum I need. I'm not getting the business I'm looking for. I feel like I have a good handle on some things, but other things don't quite feel like I'm that expert. Like Catherine mentioned, like, I know there's going to be more business coming. How do I make sure I'm prepared, so when I do get new clients, that I am best serving them? For me, so to give you a little quick background on me, I've been in the business for almost exactly 6 years. I started with Coldwell Banker. I came over to Keller Williams a little shy of 2 years ago. And my background is I'm educated as a teacher. So I worked in education for a few years. Then I ran fine dining restaurants for 7 or 8 years in management, events, and maitre d', and then got into real estate. It had never been part of my plan. It popped up out of nowhere, but we had a family friend who'd been doing it for years. And so it just kind of came to mind one day. I had originally studied interior design. I really am interested in anything small business. My husband owns a small business. My family is full of entrepreneurs. It's kind of in my blood. It was inevitable. So I just out of nowhere decided this is what I wanted to do. Took my classes and took my test in weeks because I was highly motivated to get going. And my first, so I officially had my license in August of 2014. My first closing was October. My second closing was November. My third closing was February. So I got into it right away. But it was a different time. There was not nearly as many new agents, and the market was slower, and we were just crawling out of that recession and people selling homes for less than they paid for them and all that mess. So I've just got the tail end of that. And then since then, I've pretty much been in this crazy market of low inventory, high demand, and continuously dropping interest rates. So at least for the last 3-4 years, it's been that intense, quick pace, which has been great. I'm at that age where a lot of people close to my age, a little bit younger, are first-time home buyers. So that was a lot of my first clients, and they have since sold their homes and bought a new home. I've had a good wave of people return clients. I am very, very adamant about taking excellent care of my clients, because for me that is, that's considered putting time into leads, because return clients are really important to me, and referrals. And my business is very largely referral and repeat clients. I don't pay for Zillow ads. I don't pay Yelp. I don't pay for a Google placement, whatever. My website's super simple. I do a good amount on social media because that's free and I have a good following on there, and it's fun for me to do that. And I really keep in touch with my sphere. For me, it's about being not annoying about the fact that I'm in real estate, but about reminding people in subtle ways. So that's kind of my approach. And I'm closing around 40 transactions a year with happy clients. Last year was 44. This year, we're probably going to pass 70. We might even do more than 75. But this year I got a full-time assistant. So it was a real game changer for me. Also, with nothing going on, I'm a very social person. I've totally poured myself into work, for better or for worse, work-life balance, but it means that we have a lot of business going on. So I'll be adding an agent by the end of the year to expand our team, because I can't do this by myself anymore. It's exhausting, but it's fun and I love the business. Yeah.
Can you touch a little bit more on, and you might be getting into this later, but when you are reaching out to your sphere, how you go about subtly talking about real estate and kind of what your scripts are, because that's something I'm struggling with a little bit in terms of people who I know, I have their phone number, I have their social media, but I don't have their emails. What's a good approach to build your database when you just have one thing, like one of their contact pieces, and how to subtly approach them? And if you want to touch on this in a minute, that would be helpful.
Yeah, no, those are great questions. And that's some of the stuff I want to talk about today. And I don't have a specific order, so I can jump right into that. So one thing that I think anybody can do that is free and can really help build a following for you is social media. Now, everybody has different comfort levels with using those programs, with being on video, with putting stuff out there. The key that I have found is to be genuine to yourself. So if you get your real estate license and suddenly your profile picture changes and you're in this like stiff suit with like, this like font above your head that says what you do, and you're holding a sold sign and it's not genuine to you, and your friends are looking at that like, what the heck? That's not going to work. So you have to find something that's genuine to you. So if you're a casual person and you're like, I wear fleece vests and jeans all the time, and I'm like, I like to get in the mud and get dirty and like climb in attics and see what's up in there, and that's my jam, that's how I approach things. Don't suddenly become the like white collar polished person, because that's not genuine to you. That's not what people know you as. So find what makes sense for you. For me, I am crazy excited about everything. I have endless energy. I'm super social. I love Milwaukee, and I'm all about promoting other people and connecting people. So everything I do related to real estate on social media falls within that same kind of feeling. So if I meet somebody who flipped a beautiful home, and I'm just so excited about their story. They built up their business over time. They've learned their skills. They have really excellent style. Like I'm not just going to post that this is a really cool house. I'm going to say, but let me tell you about the person behind it, because that's the stuff I care about. And that's what people expect from me. Something really subtle can be like, I'm out on a showing or at an open house, and I see some neat thing about the house that I think people would be excited about, or that I would love to have in my home. So if there's like a cool little like mid-century influenced like style in the dining room, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, if you've been to my house, I love this style. Check out the chandelier. How cool is this? It reminds them not only of real estate, but it ties me to real estate. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like if there's something really into, or something people really know you for, that's the kind of stuff to tie to whatever you're posting. So I personally don't do a ton of like accepted offers, sold, new listing, closing, all these things. I don't do that constantly. I just find other ways to tell people about like what's happening, or somebody great I've worked with, or like if someone sends me a card or gives me a card at closing and they're like, thank you so much for being so great. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so touched. Then I'll just put that on there. I usually cover their name, because I try to be respectful of people's privacy unless they want to be, which is also why I don't post sold pictures with their faces and tag them in it unless they want me to. I just, like, oh my God, you guys, look at this. This is the best. Tear emoji. This is a great card. And that's all I have to say, because they know, oh yeah, Amanda's in real estate. My background photo in my Facebook is usually something real estate related. It's not right now because I'm doing a fundraiser for 889 and I'm singing karaoke, and that's what's up there right now. It's the
What's
logo
on?
for that, but normally it's something real estate related but subtle. I'm singing an 80s song and it's gonna be real interesting. Yeah, so usually something subtle. So like my hand with keys in them, or like something related to my logo, which has a key on it. I try to do subtle things like that, and not just like in your face, like, want to buy or sell? Want to buy or sell? I'm a real estate agent. Want to buy or sell? That gets old really fast. If you know anybody who's in one of those like marketing pyramids and they're selling the stuff in the marketing pyramid, good for them if they can make it work. But has anybody watched somebody turn into that person all the time, and all you ever see in social media is like videos about how great the skin cream is, and you're like, what happened to my friend? Don't be that guy.
No.
People don't like that. They're going to tune you out really fast. So you've got to find a way to be really genuine about it, and also make it engaging. People love talking about houses. People love finding out what's going on in real estate. One of the key things I think that I found really early on was good for engaging other people and looking like the expert and establishing yourself as that person, is just understanding what's happening in the market. And do most people on here attend the meetings on Tuesday when Charlie does like the numbers? So if you don't, jumping on the team meeting, our office meeting on Tuesdays at 9 a.m., 9 to 10, highly recommend taking the time to do that. Just listening to that meeting, you're going to pick up on some language, and you're going to learn about the statistics of where things are in the market. And you can take that and just reiterate it whenever you're talking to somebody about what's going on in real estate. And it will make you look like a true expert, because you'll know the numbers and you'll understand what that means. Charlie spells it out so nicely that you can really take that and run with it. And he sends out an email with those slides. So you could take one of those slides that's like, how home sale prices are continuing to increase, but with lower interest rates, there's better affordability for buyers. Okay, well, that sends a great message, because my audience is probably buyers. And so I'm going to post something about, why it's a really great time to buy, and what the value is to them. So whether you're engaging people with something interesting, which could be, like, oh my gosh, check out this awesome bathroom in this house. Or if it's, here's some statistics on why it's a good time to buy. How can I help you make some money? How can I help you save some money? It's about them. It's a value to them. Those are the kinds of things I try to put out there. And then I weave that in with other stuff that I always post. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly supporting local restaurants. I'm constantly getting excited about local makers and artists. And so that's a lot of what I'm putting out there, along with, support of different communities that I care about. And then every once in a while, it's like, oh my gosh, and look at this tile in this bathroom. And it's just like a quick little, oh yeah, that's right, Amanda was in a house today. I wonder how the market's doing. That's all I have to do, is just little blippy things here and there to remind people. That's how I do it. That works for me. I really have built momentum with that, and momentum's really key in this business, right? We've talked about that before. So having, getting that going and just being consistent about it, and remembering like, oh, I haven't posted anything about real estate in a little while. I'll put something up there. It just kind of keeping you top of mind as a real estate person is really key. But first and foremost, you have to keep in people's minds as somebody they like and want to associate with and want to send their friends to and want to spend time with and pay attention to and listen to. So you can't get too in their face about it, or they'll tune you out. So finding that balance, I think, is really important. I like to do live video tours of houses because people love that stuff. I mean, HGTV blew up, right? There's a reason for that. People love looking at houses. So I would be careful anytime you're doing video or taking pictures of things in homes, that you're being considerate of the fact that these are people's houses. So if you're taking pictures of their belongings, I try to stay away from that because that's not what is for sale. But if you're taking a video tour of a house, I generally will only do it if it's my own listing, or if I have an open house, I'll go early and do the video before the open house. I would recommend checking with the listing agent to make sure the sellers are okay with that if you do that. But people love that and they look forward to it. So I try to do it regularly, and that has become a really good, something people look forward to, something people talk about when they see me. People I don't even know follow me. Oh my gosh, Brittany's little one, get out of here. So cute. Not really get out of here, just like, I can't believe how adorable. So doing things like that people are engaged with can be really great, because you will bump into people later in person and they will be like, oh my God, that house, or that post, or what was up with that weird chandelier, like stuff like that people look forward to. A couple of people who are great to follow, Kirsten Lindstrom with the Folk Reuben team does a really good job of consistently showing real estate on her page. But she also has fun stuff in there. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm the most active. And that's Amanda Sells Homes MKE. Amanda Sells Homes MKE is my Instagram handle. I do a bunch of stories. So my grid isn't super duper active, but my stories are very active, and that ties into my Facebook page, like my personal Facebook page. So you can follow me there or connect with me there. I have a professional Facebook page. I'm not super active on it. I'm trying to get better at that.
It's so hard to stay on top of that.
It is. It's better to the professional
and not as many
page.
people follow it, so it's like
Right.
you're better off just kind of branding yourself as like you yourself, Catherine Cronin, but then also a real estate agent too.
I like the professional page for posting my listings. And that's where I'm very polished and very much, here's a house, here's a house, here's a house.
Right.
And that's what I tie to my command. So when I'm doing boosting posts through command, I use that for that. But like my live videos, I do those on my personal page. Because I am connecting with my sphere, and I've got like 1,200 people on there. So it reminds them what I do. And it reminds them when they talk to somebody about real estate, oh my gosh, you should talk to my friend Amanda. She's really fun. She gets really excited. She has great ideas about what to do where. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want people to be like selling me to other people, right? Because when you're in real estate, you don't really sell houses, you sell yourself.
Right. And one thing that I did last week that I had success with, and it was so simple, was I just picked I know what, oh my God, a bird just flew into my window. That was terrifying. Sorry. Is that I just went on my website, my KW website, and I know where my sphere is kind of looking to buy houses. So a lot of it is Whitefish Bay, Shorewood, Mequon area, and then downtown people are still kind of interested in condos. So I picked three listings that I love, and I just posted the pictures on my Instagram and was like, oh my God, how cool is this? And I mean, it was the easiest thing, and I got so much engagement from it. So even if for new agents just starting to explore social media, that was something that I did from my house, and it was super easy. And I even I put yours on there, Amanda, and it got so much how much is that? Where is it?
I love our old place.
I know.
Yes.
But it was just super easy. So
yeah. And that's the thing. I think, different agents approach it differently, but you don't have a listing right now. So what?
Right.
Our office has plenty of listings. And as a listing agent, I'm more than happy to have you share my listing. Heck yeah, that's more reach. Great. Right. I personally, when I post stuff, I generally will say how awesome is this house? I want you to buy this house. By the way, I can be your buyer's representative because this isn't my listing, or something like that. Or great listing, Peter, or greatly whoever. So it depends on how you want to approach it. Other agents, Jonathan Newby, very much is like, I'm going to put my real estate crush of the week on my Facebook page. And I don't care if people think it's my listing or not. And I'm not going to say if it is or not. That's up to him.
Right.
So however you want to approach it. But yeah, so I think engagement is really important. Thinking of things that interest you, right? Like, why do people watch HGTV? Oh my gosh, did you see this awesome remodel? Or did you see that house that has like a crazy low price for Whitefish Bay? What's up with that? Like, if you're curious about it, other people are too. So being able to engage people that way is great. And you don't have to have your own listings. And think about like what you're posting. Who are you going to attract with that?
Right.
Like Catherine said, she's got friends in Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, Mequon. So it makes sense to focus on those areas. If you're like, I want to work with investors and like talk about, duplexes and managing tenants and what opportunities are out there as far as like how much money you can make on a rental property. Well, then being more aware of putting that kind of stuff out there makes sense. If you really want to focus on working with first-time home buyers because that's your age category, that's likely who you're going to attract. Most of your friends don't own homes. Then really understanding the process and helping demystify that is going to really work to your advantage. So even as simple as saying, if you're looking for an agent, I would love to work with you. But more than anything, it's so important to me that you take the time to find an agent who's a great fit for you. So don't just go on Zillow and click on set up a showing, but see who you can find through and like everybody does that, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that because that's what people think they have to do. They have no idea. There's not good info out there. So becoming the expert who's providing some helpful info, whether it's a quick little video, 30 seconds to a minute, I would not make it more than that. Or like a little graphic you can put together on Instagram. You can use command for this stuff if you don't feel like you're a design kind of person. You can put quick things together like that to show people that you are the go-to person. If they have a question about real estate, whether it's how the process works, whether a home is a good investment, or what their first steps are, you should be the person that comes to mind. So putting things out there like that can be the key. And I think, like a few people have said, really tapping into the people you already know, right? Those are your people, right? Your friends, your family, the people you like, the people you want to work with. You want to work with more people like them. So how do you attract those kinds of clients?
Right.
Work through your sphere. And if you are like, I don't know if this is getting anywhere, I'm just putting things out there, I have no idea how people are interpreting it. Have you like go-to people that you can say like, so what do you think of that? Like, did that go over well, or would that be attractive to you, or does this seem annoying or strange? I have several people I go to on a regular basis where I'm like, I have this idea. Is this weird? And it's just nice to get some feedback from people, especially now that we're like so insular. I'm like, am I just in my living room by myself thinking this is my dog thinks it's great. Like, is it weird?
My dog support.
Yeah. So
that's all you need though, realistically, right?
I mean, yeah. So I do have some clients who they were my second sale ever. They've become dear friends of mine, and they've sent me this incredible chain of wonderful people. I think from that sale, which I met them at an open house, I have had, I think I counted the other day, 16 sales from meeting them 6 years ago.
Wow.
And it's probably more than that, but they like try to take credit for people who sent me people who they sent me, it's like a tree. But basically, point being, they're my go-to people when I'm kind of figuring things out, because also it's a refresher to them. Oh yeah, we haven't sent Amanda anybody in a while. So it's kind of it works in two ways.
Got it.
It's like, hey, I could really use your feedback, your honest feedback. So appreciated. I'm trying to do the best I can, but also you're reminding them, and then they're kind of invested in your success, which is great. Nobody gets anywhere alone, right?
Right.
I didn't get where I am alone. No way.
I have one
So
more
leaning
question.
on your community, reaching out to your sphere.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have one more question on this. So you mentioned like posts being able to post listings, and as a newer agent who doesn't have any listings, but I do have one house, like a duplex under contract. Is that fair to share on social media, like under contract, just to like legitimize myself a little bit because I am new? It's showing like, oh, she is producing, she is performing, she like, you know, not that many people really understand what everyone thinks anything I post is my listing because they just have no idea. So like that's
Yeah.
a benefit, but like, do you feel like that's an okay strategy, or would you stay clear of that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have an accepted offer, even if you have the buyers,
Mhm.
you can post it out there. If you look at Brian Schweppe, Schweppe Homes, SCHWEPPE, SCHWEPPE, Brian Schweppe. He very much follows like a formula. So they get an accepted offer, they have a post about it with pictures, with his phone number, with a call to action, you know, houses
Right.
are selling fast, call us now. If he gets a new listing, there's a post about it, there's pictures, there's his phone number. So there's that way to go about it too. And that might make more sense in your professional page, and then you can always share it through your personal page and then put a little personal blip like, these are the sweetest people and I'm so excited for them to begin their investment path,
Right.
you know, to making more money or to becoming debt free or whatever it is. So it depends on how you want to approach it, but you certainly can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now I'm done.
Cool. No, that's good. That touches on a few things that I wanted to talk about. Another thing within, you know, the point being that one of your number one jobs is to connect with people and to build a client base. And I say build a client base and not just get to clients, because the important thing to keep in mind is that not everybody you talk to is going to work with you right now or write an offer this week. So having what a lot of people refer to as a pipeline or like an upcoming list of people is really important. So even if you talk to somebody who's like, I'm not ready yet, we're probably going to buy in the next 2 years, which by the way is almost never true, and they usually buy a lot sooner. Get in touch with them, start, you know, get their contact information, put them on an MLS auto email updates of homes that might interest them, or make a plan to check in with them every week or every other week, something like that. Have that list of people. If you've ever, if you pop into the office, look in my office. It's the one with the sliding glass door after the printer. When you look in there, the first thing you see is a frame with a bunch of Post-it notes on it. And it looks kind of crazy, but there's a system, trust me. But the right column is all my currently under contract people. The next one is the people who are active right now. And all the rest of them are upcoming people in some form or another. And some of them will never come to fruition, but having a bigger list of like maybe and down the line is really good. So if you talk to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I'm not ready yet, it's like, cool, that's fine. Like, how can I help you now? How can I help you plan? How can I help prepare you? So having your people, your contacts in command is the best way to be organized about it and the best way to easily be in touch with them. So if you haven't built up your 100 contacts in command or more, but 100's a really good start, make sure you're doing that. To make sure you have all their contact information, I'm a big fan of giveaways, because people will give you all their contact information if there's a chance they're gonna win something. Am I right? Have you done this before? You're like, oh, I really don't wanna give them my email, but I really wanna win that thing. So do that. And if it's you, a warm person that they know and not some random company, they're more likely to give you their correct information. And you could do simple drawings. You know, just be careful to call it a drawing and to be mindful of like the rules around what you can put out there as a person, as far as like, you know, lotteries and stuff like that are concerned. So if you call it a drawing and you say, you know, we're going to do a drawing for, you could do something so simple. Like there's an amazing macaron maker. Her name's Casey, Casey's Confections. These macarons are insanely gorgeous. They look like she's made like Beyonce's. She's made little White Claw cans. Like, this woman is talented, and they're delicious. You could get like a dozen of those or a 6-pack of those, and they're beautiful. So you could push them out online. You could ask her to make little houses or something for you. You could put those out there and say, you don't even know how amazing these are. Talk them up, talk them up. This is so cool. I'm excited about this small business. By the way, she bakes in New Berlin, and I just saw this really cool house there. Subtle little bit of info. And then draw a name for who wins them. But in order to be in the drawing, you have to provide your full name, your address, your phone number, your email. And that way you're getting all that information. You can try to do that on an open house too. I've done drawings at open houses before. Really simple, like giving away 3 Collectivo gift cards, and they're like $5 or $10 a piece. But they have a better chance, right? Because there's 3 of them. I have a little sign in a couple of places. Don't forget to register, or don't forget to sign up to win, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not even asking them for their contact info to bother them about this house or real estate. I'm just saying you could win this thing. So there are a number of ways you can do that to get people to share their info. You could also go to like your core group of people, your family, your good friends, and just say, hey, I'm just updating my contact information. I want to test out this email newsletter and see what you think. Or I want to test out just one email I'm going to send out about the advantages of buying a home versus renting. Do you mind if I send you that and you can give me some feedback? And they're usually more than happy to, especially right now because people have time. So those sorts of things can be really good ways to start building up your database of people and all their contact info. And that way, when you are really getting into the mode of using command, you could set up a monthly email. You could set up something to send out to people when you have a new listing, and it's all really easy to use because you have all those details. So having your contacts in command is one of the most important things you can be doing. And what you can do to get those contacts are, a number of different creative things, but really key to engage people, and then also make sure you're like capturing their information, because that'll be very useful down the line. You could also even like drop off little gifties. Like at the beginning of COVID, I got a bunch of tea that was like calming tea and like breathe easy and stress free. And I put that in a little bag for people with a little card that they could send with an envelope with a stamp on it. So they could send like a little happy note to somebody and like spread the word. It would engage them. It's a nice little gift. I have to have their address so I can drop it off. I just had like removable tape so I could like stick it on their door. So there wasn't an interaction since it was with everything with COVID, and it was very inexpensive. And then when they write a note and their friends like, oh my gosh, like I asked them to like tell me how it went, or like who'd you write your note to, or post it on social media and tag my page, and it just builds some engagement. And the person who receives the card is like, what? That's out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, my real estate agent told me to send this to you, or whatever. Like it's like all good stuff. It's all very affordable, and it's a good reason to get their address. So there's tons of things like that you can do. Peter Gozman and I'm trying to think, somebody else both did seed packets and tea, and they delivered them to their neighborhood because they wanted to like start establishing themselves in the neighborhood as a real estate agent. So they slipped a little printout in there that was like a quarter page that just said a little bit about them, and had their real estate info at the bottom. So little things like that can go a long way and not cost a tremendous amount. So, and those are things you can do without even having a business card, right? Like you can, if you have a good picture of yourself, if you have that like, your basic details, your email, your phone number, that kind of stuff, you've got our logo, you've got Keller Williams, that makes you look polished and legit. And you can use command for these designs if you want to put something together. So, yeah, and there's a number of things you can do, but building up that database is the important piece. So that's really the biggest thing that I wanted to touch on today, is how can you get more people in your pipeline, and how can you build up something that you can use to try to get more business. So social media is a big piece of that. Using command, things you can do in person. If you're a phone call person, do phone calls. If you're not a phone call person, are there some other things you can do that you're more motivated to do, that you're actually going to do, right? Like that's the key. You can knock on doors or make 40 phone calls a day or whatever, if that's your thing and you're going to do it. But if you're not going to do it, then don't make that your thing, right? Like I don't make cold calls and I don't knock on doors. People find success with that and that works for them. It's just not my thing. So figure out what's genuine to you and what's going to work for you and make that your thing. Outside of that, there are other pieces that are going to make you feel more comfortable and ready to take on business. Because is anybody like, yeah, sure, I can get people who want to work with me, but I'm terrified of what to do next? Like, how do I help them then? That's scary. I am hesitant to try to get business because as soon as people want to work with me, I don't know what to do with them, right? So that's where the top 5 comes in. So if you haven't seen the top 5, there's a video on the launch page. I'll post a new one on there, but the basic things you should really make sure you're comfortable with, first and foremost, is the offer to purchase. Make sure you have watched the videos about it. I have 2, Janine has 1, Kimmy has 1. They're all on the Facebook group or the YouTube page. So watch that and follow along with an actual document in front of you. Fill one out and call the helpline and schedule a time to go over the offer to purchase with either Andy or Stephanie. So Andy Stillman and Stephanie Minnick are the ones on the other end of the helpline. It's not a 24-hour hotline. It's a helpline, and your best bet is to call in advance. So rather than calling while you're writing an offer for a real client and you're panicking, do it in advance. So take the time to watch the videos, write up an offer, then bring your offer or practice another offer and bring it to Andy and then walk through it with him. See where your errors are, where you could tweak things. Jessica did this early on, and I think that was so smart. I don't know if she's still on here, but that was a good one. And really be familiar with that document, because the way you use that document for your clients is going to serve them. So being really comfortable with that is so important. Jessica's nodding. Yeah, that was a good thing to do. And then being really familiar with, well, I'll say this, having an outline for a buyer consultation is really key. So just having an outline. What are the things that somebody who's never bought a house before or hasn't in a long time needs to know? Think really basic. And what are those things we need to go over? You're going to have to talk about buyer agency. Do not forget. Make sure they understand what that means. Make sure they know what that document is so that you can send it to them right away or have them sign while you're sitting down. Having a buyer consultation is so important. You will save yourself and your clients so much time, so much frustration, so much running around on showings that don't make sense, to just sit down and qualify them as far as where they are in the process. Do they have a pre-approval? Do they really know what they want? Is their expectation of what they can get realistic for the market? And setting their expectations for what to expect. It's a fast market. If you find a house you love, we have to go that day. Yep.
I'd like to make a comment on that. In Command,
I can't tell who that is.
This is David.
Sure.
In Command, they do have the first time buyer, the buyer package in design for campaigns. I actually used it. I can't remember exactly where it is off my head, but it puts in that package everything that you need to walk them through for a first time buyer program or for a first time buyer. So like on my last contact, I used that. I had also contacted Linda of mine, got her information that was able to put together a nice package and deliver it to the buyers. What actually happened with that is it was an hour consultation. And by the end of it, you know, I'm like, how do you guys feel about this? And they're like, we've talked to 3 different agents. Nobody's ever presented all this information to us like this. It is a really good, useful tool. It's what solidified them signing a buyer's agreement with me. And it's, it's helpful. Hey, this is what the process is going to be like. Went through the financial process with them, just talked to them, they're ready to go.
That's awesome. That's a great example, David. And honestly, that is also a time. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the tool in Command, just the information to download it and modify it to fit your, you can change things in there, like you're the actual agent, so you want to put your agent name in there, you want to put your DBA in there if you have your own DBA, but you can modify that package for the pages that you need and the information that you want. So I would suggest using it.
Yeah. That's a great outline to use. And then you can tweak it over time. I have changed my buyer consultation outline, pages, booklet several times, not continuously, but like every year or so I check back and I'm like, what can I tweak? So it's a living, breathing document. It can always change. The way you do that consultation can change. But the key is keep the perspective of a person who has no idea how this process works and being able to explain the basics and set them up for success. And a key part of that is helping them understand what the market is doing right now. And that automatically makes you an expert, right? They automatically see value in you because you know what's going on and they don't. So getting them to sign buyer agency, talking to them about, if you want to see any homes, come to me first. Even if it's an open house, call me first. I'm your go-to, I'm your advocate. I'm looking out for you, so we need to go together. And that way you won't get people who like randomly call a Zillow ad or go to an open house without you and you lose them. Establishing that from the get-go is really smart. Half hour to 60 minutes before we get out there on showings, let's just chat. And you can do it through video now. So it's like not even a huge commitment. And you can send them that packet in advance to look at. So that's a great thing, great resource to have for that. You also want to have a listing presentation. So if you know that you're mostly working with people buying homes right now, then maybe the listing presentation isn't the first thing you do, but you should plan to do it at some point. So, sometime in the next 2 or 3 quarters, like, okay, for fourth quarter, I'm going to focus on my contacts in Command, and I'm going to focus on that offer to purchase, and I'm going to get a good basic of my buyer consultation. Those will be my 3 things for the rest of the year, basically. But for next year, first quarter, I think I'm gonna do some more on listing presentations. And there's a bunch of videos in our YouTube channel about that. So I can watch those, I can use the Command outline for that and kind of develop that. I personally didn't really have a really solid listing presentation down until this year. And I'm in my 6th year and I do a lot of business. Like, I needed to have something basic to start with, to work off of, and then I've kind of made it my own over time. Every year I go back and revisit it. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, is like focus on the things you know are going to serve you best, but make sure you've got a good base. So along with those things, understanding the listing contract, very important. Understanding the buyer agency agreement, very important. This stuff is boring, it's dry, but it is the magic of you being of value. Understanding those contracts, the listing contract, the offer to purchase, the buyer agency agreement, understanding those documents makes you a great agent, makes you able to best serve your clients and explain things to them. There's nothing worse than walking through an offer to purchase with somebody and they ask you a question and you have no context, like not even a little. And you can't pull from experience. So you've got to understand what's in the document. And if there are times you don't know something, that's okay too. Just don't make something up. Please. So those are the basic things. So you really want to have those things down so that when you do get business, you feel confident and comfortable in serving them best. And honestly, when you have that feeling that you've got this, that you can handle it, that you're going to take good care of them, people will just start to come to you. However you want to believe this whole manifestation thing that's happening out there right now, but there is some validity to it. You give off a vibe and it motivates you to reach out and try to build your pipeline of people so that you can get business going. So they do have to go hand in hand. It's not just about finding new clients. And it's not just about finding clients for right now, it's also for the future. And it's also about really feeling solid as an expert in your field. So taking advantage of those Tuesday meetings and learning the data, taking advantage of getting out there and seeing homes and understanding what is out there, knowing what the market's doing, talking to people who are experiencing it, listening in on the meetings and other classes, and then having really solid understanding of those documents is going to get you really far. Because you can't do it all at once, right? You can't do it all at once. You can't create a website, design a business card, try to get new clients, homeschool your grandkids, do these other things all at the same time, and then expect them all to be done well and get anywhere with them. So focus on just 1 to 3 things per quarter as your goals, as the things you need to work on, and then block out time every week to make sure you're actually working on that stuff. That's the only way you're going to get headway. And once you get momentum going, that's the key. Momentum is key. Then you just ride it and it feels like you're not even trying and business is coming in. Sound good? It's a lot to pack in an hour. Cool. I just thought it'd be good to revisit this stuff. So I'll put a reminder on the launch group, Facebook group, about the top 5 and actually what we call the top 5, but those are the basic things. Work on building your pipeline of people and then make sure you've really got the essentials down, and that will get you very far. So if you're feeling a little lost or you're feeling a little overwhelmed, come back to those things. Those are really the key. Back to basics. Any last minute questions? All right. Last thing I would say is, even for experienced agents, when it comes down to it, if business starts to go awry or slow down, this is the stuff I always come back to. I'm like, what's stopping me? Am I not contacting my people? Am I not keeping that flow of conversation going? Am I not reminding people what I do in a subtle and genuine way? Am I feeling like I'm not confident about the process or the systems? How can I clean that up to get back to basics, to get things moving again? So this is something you can always come back to. And we'll talk more about it, but I thought a good reminder was the way to go today. And if you're like me, I'm probably not going anywhere today. So it's going to be a good time for me to refocus on some of those things. Get back into command, see how many contacts you've got in there. Go to your phone, start there, start filling it in. Think about what you might want to post this next week about, real estate or whatever on social media, and kind of plan it out a little bit. Think about whether you have time this next weekend to do an open house. Reach out to agents, look on MLS, look at listings in my office. You can find listings by my office, and then find houses that you think are great and contact that agent directly and see if they'd let you do an open house. Because that might just be a great place for you to like video or pictures and kind of get some momentum going, even if you don't get any clients out of it, but maybe you do. So just doing those things will start building that momentum. Sound good?
Yep. Thank you.
See people taking notes. This is good. Awesome. You're very welcome. If you want to set up a time for accountability with me, please text me. My phone number is 414-534-7982. 534-7982. 414-534-7982. And I will set up a time with you for a 20-minute accountability call. That is to make sure you're working on your top 5, helping you set your goals, keeping you on track. It's your time to check in with me and say where you are with things. It's not to get you in trouble. It's just to have some accountability so that you're making sure you're making progress. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Have a lovely rest of your week. Stay dry today. I hope that bird's okay.
I'm going to check on it in a minute.
I'll see all of you next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.